Hey Melody, it's September. So your songs for September are Voice of Reason and Etude number 53, Shadows Dancing. So I'm going to start with Voice of Reason. And you say there's a saxophone involved, written in June. Okie dokie. I had a thought. I said it's not a voice of reason. That breaks cohesion. A voice of reason does bring attention to a cause. But for you to be rid of fear, you must listen, you must hear. The thought was, we must be free, but without action, we will never be. Okay. Oop. Sorry. There we go. That's a cool sound. All right, let's see what this chord progression is. It's in minor key. Basically a C minor chord, arpeggiated. Well, I don't know. It's you moved it down to F on the bottom instead of G. You went down to F. Just sounds like it has tension now. Down to E flat. Okay, so you're kind of keeping this upper part the same. Right? Okay. And then you went up. I like that one. Oh, that's because it's flat 6, of course. Sounds so vulnerable. Back down to C. Okay. So it's a progression based on, I would say, stepwise motion, right? Then first you went down, then you went up. Great. I like the 4 on the floor. It's cool you could hear the reverb on the very first initial attack of that synth. It's like a plink. Like raindrops. Or not raindrops, more like I'm in like an abandoned factory and there's water dripping on the concrete floor. Like an effect on it that I'm not used to hearing. I mean, has the effects I am used to hearing, plus almost like an octave doubling, just like a little bit of a harmonic or something, like a buzzing. It's cool. I lost the downbeat. Hang on. Little jazzy groove. Man, that hi-hat sound is so nostalgic for me. That trance hi-hat. Oh man. That what is that? It's like supposed to be a clave or something. One of those really old Roland synths, and it's just like a perfect fourth instead of an actual like. Maybe it's a fifth. That's also so nostalgic. It's groovy. It's very laid back to me now. Like before the drums came in, or maybe even with the kind of kick, the pulsating kick, things felt a lot more moody for me listening. And it was a little bit more serious, I guess. And then the drums came in and it really kind of lightened things up for me. It feels more playful and kind of like now I feel like I'm kind of dancing in the rain as opposed to being in a dark factory. Have you ever tried like harmonizing your voice with your saxophone? I wonder what that would sound like. There's that harmonic minor sound. The kind of the spaciousness in the mix of this one. Feels like I can hear the individual components really well, and the stereo field. You're definitely taking advantage of the stereo field with the drums, which is cool. chords are starting to get a little bit muddy for me, but I do really like this drum groove that you just brought in here. That's nice. It's got kind of this trashy sound to it. This lead 303 sounds very biting, almost aggressive, like I should watch out. I should watch my back. So the rhythm here of this synth is making it all have a shuffle feel, because you've got your beats are slow, but there's also a subdivision, which is like this, and then you subdivide that further into 3 instead of so between the swinging rhythms of the main drum groove and then the synth coming in, yeah, just kind of feeds into that kind of almost jazzy sound to me, and gives it a kind of a liquidy flow. Very kind of incomplete ending. I love those. Cool. All right. Next one is etude number 53, Shadows Dancing. And you said this one has acoustic drums, violin. Lyrics are: shadows dancing on the wall, shadows dancing behind the flame. The sun's our friend. She's our claim to fame. We dance in the light. We shine bright. We find there's no regret, only a threat. All right. Why does this sound familiar? Okay, maybe not. Well, at first I thought it reminded me of Hurt, Nine Inch Nails' Hurt, and another song of his that he did for Halsey. He starts the same way. Right, see, okay. I'm having trouble with this. Oh. Yeah, Hurt goes. And then the Halsey song goes. I don't know. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why I recognized it. Okay. So this has a very, kind of it's dissonant, ominous kind of sound, a little bit creepy because of this. Both these intervals. This is a tritone. and this is a minor oh no, it's major 7th. Okay, but yeah, it's together. Wait, yeah. Oh no. Wait, I'm so confused. Yeah, okay, all right, we're good. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. That chord's nice. I like that. Oh, is it the same chord? No, it's not. It ends on the same chord, but starts up here. That's pretty. I like that resolution. So you went up, and you went down. That's a very cool sound. I'm gonna bookmark that. You have this like a, basically like a minor chord, and then you go a half step down, and you play a major chord. That's pretty. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I'm starting to take notes of those kinds of chord progressions. Another one is like going from here down to the tritone. Like that. Whoa. All right. Cool. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. I like that you're repeating them twice just to help establish that before you move on. Okay. Okay, so that pattern continues. I just had an audio issue. Is it back? Yes. But now this isn't working. Okay, just a sec. Okay, back. Nope, never mind. Can't hear it. There's that there's that major 5 chord, that dominant chord in the minor key that makes it all harmonic minor-y. What am I doing? There we go. So you have that. And you really milk it there with that da da da, right? So there, in the scale, there's this big jump, and that's what you did on the piano. So you really highlight that part of it. Okay. Nice. Interesting choice. Let's see. So you start a counter melody. There's that jump again. I think that's cool. I like how that comes in. Because this da 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 is kind of syncopated, and that's very on the beat. So there's a nice contrast there, also with the register it's in. Right, it's a lot higher. I see what you did there. So instead of going back up, you went down. Let's see. Oh, E flat. Wait. Oh. Oh, did you know that you modulated to F minor or F something? F. C sharp? This is so creepy. Ooh, okay. So I don't know. I can't tell if it's necessarily a key change or what, but it felt like a key change. It felt like C, then this. Forget what happened next, but eventually you went to this chord, which would lead us back to the C minor, but instead you went down to F, and then you went to the E flat major chord, and then I think you went down here, maybe. Very interesting. Okay. So creepy. Back to C now.
Shadows dancing on the wall. Shadows dancing behind the flame. The sun's her friend. She's her claim to fame. We dance in the light. We shine bright. We find there's no regret. Only a threat.
Oh, okay. So it's just a longer chord progression. So you went to C, then you went to B, then you went to A flat, then G, then F, then E flat, then D flat, then C. Gotcha. So you're just kind of going down. Okay. Those vocals are so ghostly. Good for a song called Shadows Dancing. Yeah. So those are some samples from your drum kit? Is that it? I like that syncopated. Perfect for October.
Shadows dancing on the wall. Shadows dancing behind the flame. The sun's her friend.
previous section, I kind of felt like I couldn't figure out where to focus on, whether it was your vocal or the 303, because they both kind of had like a lead position. So now there's a break. Now the 303 is very much the spotlight. Two of them. A little unclear what's going on with these chords here. I think it sounds good with that beat. Kind of helps shape the chords a bit.
Shadows dancing on the wall. Shadows dancing on the flame. The songs of friend. She's there claiming fame. Dance. The light, we shine bright. There's no regret. Only a threat. Shadows dancing on the wall.
There's just too much going on here for me to figure out what's happening. But I am picking out that higher 303, and it's doing some nice stuff. It's funny, as soon as it goes below a certain note, it starts to become muddy for me. It's only like a certain range where the tone is pure enough. Right, because there's a lot of overtones and stuff on that sound, that 303 sound. So if it goes low enough, it starts to sound more like it's biting and growly and less tonal to a certain degree. Or maybe it's also the velocity, right? Because it can get really like bow, bow, and it can also be really like boo, boo, boo. So it's like boo, boo, boo. It's easier to hear the pitch. But when it goes higher, it's like everything kind of, all that jaggediness kind of gets so small that I think it starts to even out to a purer tone or something. Be interesting to study that, wouldn't it? I like, I think that's cool. That's cool. That could be a cool thing to develop more. Kind of like repeat it or something. interesting. I think this piece was interesting for me because it's got it kind of lulls. I mean, I can tell right away that there's something very creepy and unsettling about it, and there's a lot of dissonance, but it keeps the quality of it being an etude, you know, in the piano. It keeps lulling me into thinking it's going to be like, how do I put this? Like into thinking I can relax for a second, but the harmonies that you have in this song, and I'm sure you knew this, right? Are just there's a lot of clashing and a lot of dissonance, right? And that's part of why it sounds so unsettling and so kind of spooky and dangerous almost. But it got to be a little bit much for me personally. I was just like feeling a little confused. I wasn't really sure what I was hearing. But I especially liked, I guess the parts that I really, really liked was this first part with the piano. That's a cool, it'd be interesting to hear like a version, like a remix of this etude that you do, you know, where it's stripped, right? Kind of stripped down. But I don't know. You know me. I guess I have a little bit more of a preference for minimal. I don't know. I think I've said this before, right? Like it'd be cool to hear a stripped down version, stripped down melody. That I could get into that a bit more because there's some really cool things in there, but it gets a little bit buried, I guess, as time goes on. But cool. Well, so for October, I'm expecting spooky. No, I'm just kidding. You can do whatever you want. We're gonna do some spooky Halloween themed live streams with everybody, so you can do it there. Cool. Alrighty. Well, hope you have a good one, and I'll see you next month. See ya.